Have you ever noticed something strange? That sometimes people don't just dislike rich people, they almost fear them. And what's even more interesting is that this fear doesn't always come from hatred. Sometimes it comes from something quieter, something deeper, almost like discomfort, like a tension in the room when someone with real money walks in. But here's the part most people never stop to think about. What if it's not really about rich people at all? Think about this. For many people, money doesn't just mean comfort or luxury, it represents something far bigger: freedom, options, control over time, the ability to say no to things that feel forced. And if someone has grown up feeling stuck, constantly stretching every naira, every decision, every opportunity, then wealth starts to represent something emotional, not just financial. It becomes a mirror. Because when you see someone who has what you want but don't believe you can reach, it creates a silent identity threat. It's not loud, it doesn't announce itself, but it shows up as criticism, jokes, distance, or even suspicion. You might hear someone say, rich people are just lucky, or they're probably not even happy. But sometimes that's not analysis, that's protection. Protection from the uncomfortable idea that maybe, just maybe, the gap between where they are and where they want to be feels too wide to cross. So the mind does something clever. It projects. It turns wealth into something suspicious, something flawed, something undeserved, because that feels easier than asking, why not me? And you can see this in everyday life. A friend gets a new car and suddenly people start saying he's changed. Someone opens a successful business and the conversation quietly shifts to how it might not last. A neighbor upgrades their home and instead of curiosity, there's distance. But beneath all of that is often something very human: comparison. Because wealth doesn't just change lifestyles, it challenges identities. It forces people to confront beliefs they've carried for years about what is possible for them. And if someone secretly believes they are stuck, then watching someone else break free can feel almost threatening. Not because the rich person did anything wrong, but because they represent a version of life that feels emotionally out of reach. Here's the twist, though. The fear isn't really about rich people. It's about what wealth exposes inside us: our beliefs, our limits, our doubts, our stories about who gets to win in life. And maybe the real question isn't why some people fear the rich, but what would change if they stopped seeing wealth as proof of difference and started seeing it as proof of possibility.